Hello! Welcome again to Eddie's Funhouse. I've been pretty good, hanging in there, trying to get some business going. I guess it's going to be a matter of time. I need to be patient like a hawk. That's what I was told yesterday. Hold on, I need to open a window. There we go. Actually, just open the blinds. Been a while. I know, it has been a while. I did one last night. I guess personal things are holding me up. Hold me up and hold me back. But I just got to keep going. Don't let things get me down. I can't be letting things get me down. It's harder than I thought. I've been good. I've been doing just fine. How are you holding up? I hope you're able to keep your emotions from running wild and crazy. Sometimes it's an effort just to stay happy. Yeah, I'm there with you. It's hard to miss somebody. They say you never miss the water till the well runs dry. And I'm trying to think of how I can do it tastefully. I just don't want to whip something together and then look like it was done half-hearted. Because I never knew what Edgar looked like. I didn't know a whole lot about Edgar except that he served in Fallujah and he was a drill instructor. But that's about all I knew. I knew he liked to play jokes. So yeah, I don't want to just whip it together. I did that for a friend one time. It was like a memorial to remember one of my friends, and I think it takes time to do a very tasteful video, one that means a lot. Because again, it'd be interesting. Like, you probably known him most of your life. I only knew him for maybe a couple of weeks to a month. Yeah, and that's what I mean. I need to take that into consideration. And it's hard because, like I said, I didn't know him. All I knew was, that he'd come to the shows and he'd give me ideas. And he didn't want me to be soft. Maybe that's what I can do. Like, this live here can be a form of a memorial. When people watch this live, I can put a little something in here to commemorate Edgar. Like, do you know when he was born? This show has gone down the drain. It seems like that. It's hard to get happy again once a friend dies. It's you got to let that grieving process take place. Because I know that it's loss comes unexpected, and then I think one of the parts of grief, one of the stages of grief is denial. And then after that, acceptance. And it takes a little while to get to the acceptance part. Those are the two main ones that I remember. Well, a lot of things have impacted me. Yeah. A lot of, like, I'm getting over some a loss, and dealing with semi-discouragement. Because when I try to promote a website, people think it's a scam. Hey, Rodolfo, welcome. Welcome to Eddie's Funhouse. We're trying to hold on to fun in spite of everything else. Sometimes everything else distracts us and gets us down. But it's good to acknowledge what makes us sad and then put it behind us. No, this is legit. This is legit. You get like 250,000 views, and they guarantee those views. It only costs $20. $20, and they guarantee you results. So like if you have a website and you just want people to see it, you give your agent your link, and your agent starts promoting the link. It's interesting how many views I got, or how many, they're called clicks. Yeah. If it's a website, they're called clicks. And also you get a tracker. There's a site that you go, a link that helps you track how many views you've received and where it's being seen. I was getting them all over the world. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, after your agent gets your link, he sends you a link so you can keep track of how many views you've received. Yep. When I was doing it, it was $25. So I guess it's $5 less now. $25 for each month, but now they made it a flat fee. I really miss her and what her Rodolfo, literally the best video. So milk teas. You wouldn't by any chance be Orange Island. Eddie, they are scamming you. You heard earn $20. No, it's a commission. Actually, you make half of the charge. So I get $10 out of the $20. So far, there's no takers yet. People are calling it a scam before you even try it. It's hard to guarantee a scam. Because I think you get more, if you don't get your 250,000 views, you are orange. The 3 videos. Yeah. It's amazing how many channels this guy has. What happened to Emma? She's still doing, she had to start a new channel, that's all I know. Because this guy keeps bothering her. And I guess somebody hacked into her channel. She's still making videos, so anyways. Slide Emma she's single. Is this another one of, I think it is. I think this is that Orange Island guy. So anyways, we'll find out. So you're holding up pretty well, Palamo. Palamo's doing good. This ain't no orange guy. I am Edgar's worker. Okay. Edgar's got a worker. So how's everybody doing? Everybody who knew Edgar. Edgar placed the last order for toys. I haven't seen any results. I haven't seen any evidence of that. I've looked at my, did they give you commission? They're saying that there were no orders placed. So I'm going to have to look into that further. They're saying people, that's what's interesting. People say they placed orders. So I'll have to investigate that further. Edgar is always doing things, bro. He's in Hawaii, but busy like I didn't get it. He did. Huh. So Palamo says he passed away. This guy says Edgar is in Hawaii. He showed me the receipt to the brat swing. Really? I'll need to ask them about that. Yeah. Say, why am I not seeing results? Then again, I'll have to go look into my dashboard. I am left-handed. Do you want me to call Edgar to get in here? Not if he's enjoying himself. If he's enjoying himself in Hawaii, there's no need to bother him. That might be his vacation time. Hello, Jennifer. Wow, this guy's got a lot of channels. Hello. Today, I told her I'm a celebrity, huh? People call me a celebrity. So Edgar got shot. Another person is saying he's in Hawaii. Well, let's see what benefits I get. You got a little big while I was away. What you been eating? I'm about the same weight. He didn't get shot. If he did, I would go on new. Look it up. Edgar get shot. So we have conflicting stories. Yeah, so give it a try. Where are you going to the 500-pound show? Trust me, I haven't seen Edgar, and he would never miss the Eddie show. Laugh your ass off. Hey, it's Charlotte. Did you look it up, Eddie, to see when he died? He said he lived somewhere near you. I'm getting two different stories now. Someone says he's in Hawaii. Another person said he passed away. I can't wait either. Look at this guy. He created another. He created another account. He just won't go away, this guy. Eddie lived in New York City. New New York City? I don't think I've ever been to New York. I went to the Smithsonian Institute one time. I think that's in Washington. I think that's the closest I've gotten. There are a lot of states I haven't gone to yet. That'd be cool if I could fund a trip. See how many states I can spend time in. Have you been to Reno? Yes, I have. I lived in Portola, California, and it didn't take long to get from Portola into Nevada. I went to Circus, because back then I was too young to gamble. So where the kids hung out were the upper level of Circus. The lower level was where all the what do they call those? Slot machines, the crap tables. Yeah, I remember that. I wasn't old enough to gamble, so my aunt took us all in a VW van, and we went to Nevada. It was Reno, Nevada. That's where we went. Reno, Nevada, and we went to Circus. Did you look up Edgar's death? No, I did not. I don't, he didn't die. See, another person saying he didn't die. I'm going to have to Google it. I don't have his last name. So how many Edgars are out there? How many Edgars? It's easier to look up somebody if you have their first and last name. You miss our days in class. What's up, David? Palomo is on M30th. What's M30th? M30th? March 30th? I wish I had a computer so I can just go on the computer. I might have to make room for my laptop so I can investigate. Thoughts on George Washington? I heard he had, they still have George Washington's teeth. During the Civil War, they would take teeth of dead soldiers and they would make dentures. How do I remember me as? I remember you as my fellow helmet wearer. Eddie, this guy's talking crazy. I don't even know who this guy is. I think this is the first time I've seen him. I guess that's where the entertainment is. The entertainment is what is real. How can you investigate a guy you only know their first name to? I know Edgar's first name. Oh, wait a second. A long time ago, he had his last name. His last name, I heard this in school, that he wasn't our first president because the White House wasn't around. Yeah, they were saying he was the father of our country. The father of our country was George Washington. Because I think what happened, the Declaration of Independence was signed. And then we weren't even a founded country yet back then. Edgar said you needed to grow a pair. Boy, was he right. Did you grow one? I guess I grew a pair. I guess by whose definition? Can you see my comments? Yes, I can. I was seeing your comments the last time. I'm seeing everyone's comments, which is good. I hate it when the comments stop all of a sudden. John Quincy Adams. John Quincy Adams. You know what? I didn't gather a lot of data about him. He was one of our presidents, wasn't he? And then there was Andrew Jackson, William Jefferson. That was around that time. I know more about Teddy Roosevelt. He was part of the Rough Riders during the Mexican-American War. You're back to second president. Okay. Thoughts on Hulk Hogan's third wife? I don't really know all this stuff about. I don't follow. I guess what I get interested in, I usually follow. There's a kid that's, I guess, is going to do a life sentence. A kid who killed some family or no, some neighbors. I was kind of following that case. Thoughts on Alf, alien life form? There was a little person that wore that costume. That was a pretty big show back in the 80s. Alf. He liked to eat cats. The dregs of poop culture. We have poop culture. The bitter dregs. Remember that? Mr. Spock sang that song. Oh, bitter dregs. You've seen it. You've seen Alf. Thoughts on Oprah Winfrey? Worth $3 billion. I know, isn't that weird? Some people are worth next to nothing, and other people can be worth $3 billion. Thoughts on... I remember Fraggle Rock. Cast your cares away, worry for another day, let the music play down at Fraggle Rock. I was in high school back when that came out. Fraggle Rock. There was that big ogre that would chase the Fraggles. What about the stress? Oh, the actress who played Vicky on Small Wonder. Yes, she grew up to be a veterinarian. Yeah, she was a Christian singer, I guess, after Small Wonder. Eddie, I had to change to this channel. You were not reading my comments. Really? I wonder how that's happening. I'll have to see, because I know you weren't blocked. I was seeing your comments. Get back to your other channel. I was reading your comments. Your last comment. Hold on a second. Wait a tick. Can you see my comments? Wasn't that the last thing? The last thing you wrote was, can you see my comments? And I said, yes, I can. Try your original channel. I'm reading all of your comments. Unless you wrote some other ones. Your last comment. Who's your mods now? I'm trying not to have any mods. I'm trying to do my own moderating. D from That's My Mama. It's a vet. Yeah, that's right. A lot of people went on to, like, Charlie from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You did see the ones before that. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me see. Did I see the ones before that? Let me go. Let me look. Let me look. A lot of people have... Okay, can you see these comments? What else? What else? So Edgar didn't die. I saw that one. I saw, did you look up Edgar's death? I think that was the last. Hold on. Wait a tick. And this one, did you look up Eddie to see when he died? And my answer was that I don't remember his full name. I do remember he had it in one of his. So yes, I am reading your comments. I wonder why he's still... Yeah, there we go. So Palamo is confirming that he did die. Sorry, I thought you weren't reading them. I am reading them. Yes. I was reading all of them. Watch the beginning of the video. You will see the proof. The proof will be in the pudding. If you like pudding. Wow, I've got 7 people watching. You skipped my message. Oh my goodness, let me see. Let me see what I missed. You were talking about our time together in special ed, which is usually... No, you were... Yeah, thoughts on Oprah Winfrey? Oprah Winfrey? I knew one of her relatives. One of my bosses was Oprah Winfrey's relative. Ask Palamo Edgar, full name. Then you could look it up. Yeah. Thoughts on Bill Clinton? He was a good president until he got caught. That's all I remember. They were saying Bill Clinton was a very good president. And then he had that scandal. People were getting all up in his business. That's what I remember. I was alive during his administration. They said we didn't have a deficit during his watch or during his presidency. Bill was the best. He got head. Yeah. Al Gore. Yep. $220 million. Could you imagine that? All one man needs, I think, is $1 million if he invests it properly. And people have multi-millions. With his intern. Yeah, good boy. Just an intern. She wasn't even getting paid. She didn't even have to be there that day. She wasn't even supposed to be there that day. Have you seen $1 million? I have never seen $1 million. A lot of people don't know what $1 million is. I keep hearing that. A lot of people can't even fathom what $1 million is or how much it would get them. You don't need money, Eddie. You're 56 and live with your mommy. No, a man's true character make him rich. I agree. Yes. She needed a gagger. Papa. What's the most money you've seen? $39,000. I think at one time, a little more than $39,000. That's what because I cashed out my 401k plan. Ed, are you corn feds to good place to find deer? I saw a lot of deer in California, if we're talking about literal deer. Do you drink... Mountain Dew. Occasionally. Sometimes. Mountain Dew is a little too sweet for me. If we're talking about the soft drink, Mountain Dew was also called whiskey. Whiskey was referred to as Mountain Dew. I remember that. They called whiskey Mountain Dew. And now then they came out with the drink, the soft drink, the yellow colored soft drink. I used to drink it when I was a kid. Eddie, you blew through that 30K yet? Yes, I did. Mountain Dew, love it. Do YouTube don't pay for views as some may debots? They do pay you, but it's like, I think it's every 1,000 views. I don't have that many views yet. And also watch time. You have to accomplish 40,000 hours of watch time. I think it's 40,000 hours of watch time. And I haven't gotten anywhere near that yet. Thoughts on Surge? Surge? Are you talking about the Purge? What is Surge? Surge is an energy drink? That's what it sounds like it would be. So see, there's your original channel. Charlotte's back. Oh, it's a good Surge. I had a Starbucks drink earlier today, and it tasted like cigarette juice. Ed, you scared for your mom? No, she's healthy right now. Did she ever beat you? She she never beat me. My dad did. My dad beat me. My mom was more of a scolder. She would scold me. So yeah. Now I think I'm okay. I'm older now. I have more confidence, I think, and I don't get in trouble as much as I used to. Actually, I was a pretty good kid for the most part. Thoughts on Bruno Sammarino? Sambertio? Who is that? Bruno. Bruno? I am not familiar with Bruno Sammartino. Am I saying that right? Sammartino? So we got a whopping 3 people. 4, what do they call them? 4 likes? 4 likes? I got to get better than this. I got to have more viewers. Oh, a wrestler. Okay, Bruno. That's probably why. I used to follow wrestling when I was younger. Now that I'm older, I just watch current events. Did you ever watch Married at First Sight? No, was that a movie? Married at First Sight? That sounds like a thriller. More Than Me in Friday. More Than Me in Friday. What's that supposed to mean? Black Sky. Oh, Blade Skies. Blade Skies. So it looks like most of the gang is here. Who else? Who are we missing? Mandy. I wonder how Mandy's doing. MAFS. What's the difference between Chris Rock and Kevin Hart? I don't know. That sounds like the setup for a punchline. Chris Rock got smacked. He totally didn't see that coming. And we're missing Edgar, and we're missing Mandy. Mandy used to show up. I hope she's okay. I hope her sister's better. I heard her sister was at home now. Her sister made it home. Maybe I'll have to put on an all points bulletin. Are they both actors? They are both actors. Yeah. Chris Rock and Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's been in a lot of movies lately. Will was protecting his wife. That's right. You got to protect your wife's honor. He needs to be more careful who he jokes about. No, it's real life. Oh, real life people get married, but don't know who they are getting married to. Okay. It's on Channel 4. Okay. See, I'm in the U.S. Channel 4 might be something entirely different here. I'm in the United States. That would be interesting to watch Irish television. What's it like in Ireland on television? Because our cultures are different. Oh, in the UK? Mandy is in the UK. Let's see. I get them both confused. Yeah. You can download. Oh, okay, the app Channel 4. All right. I got to see how much room is on my phone. I just uploaded Google Translate. Google Translate's pretty fun. You just pick the language, you say it in English, and then it plays it back in French or in Russian or German. Are they the same size? I think so. They're virtually... Kevin Hart's a little bulkier, I guess. A little more stout. Chris Rock is more of a slim guy. I'd call him a slim guy. I think he's worked with Louis C.K. He made the movie Pootie Tang. That's right. Pootie Tang. Have you ever seen Pootie Tang? There's a movie that Louis C.K., I guess, wrote and directed. And Chris Rock was in that movie. I think he narrated it. Thoughts on Eddie Murphy? He's a very good comedian. He's been in quite a few movies. He still looks good for his age. I remember Trading Places. Slout? Ha. What's that? Stout. Yeah. Stout. I guess that means a strong build. If someone is stout, like Mike Tyson would be considered stout because he's more like a sturdy build. In Shrek, yes, he was. He played the donkey. I remember going to Universal Studios. When I went to Universal Studios, I heard Eddie Murphy's voice. Do you know how he's doing? How who's doing? Who are you referring to? How Eddie Murphy's doing? So we went from Chris Rock to, Emma. She seems to be doing pretty good. She made another channel. Oh, E. Do I know how E's doing? Okay, I misread that. She's not showing her face anymore. I think because that guy kept showing up and bothering her. So she started a new channel, but she's not showing her face anymore. In the closet. A lot of people are in the closet according to Blade Skies. What does Fred Savage do now? Who is Fred Savage? I remember a Michael Savage. I remember an Adam Savage. I don't remember a Fred Savage. What does in the closet mean? I guess hidden away. They referred to gay people as coming out of the closet, like a closet homosexual. Somebody who doesn't want people to know they're gay. They call that a closet homosexual. And then when they come out of the closet, that's when they do their reveal. They tell their friends and family that they are gay. That's how I remember it. Being a closet, like a closet transvestite. Transvestites aren't gay. I heard transvestites, they just like the feeling of women's clothing on their body. They just like dressing up in women's clothing. Wonder Years. I remember the Wonder Years. Winnie Cooper, his love interest. Your money's on Eddie. You're firmly in the closet. Okay. You're not going to reveal any secrets. That's what I remember when I was young. Do you believe that all gay were going to hell? I don't. I don't know. I think God is the one who makes those decisions. It's funny how mankind thinks they know who's going to hell and who's not. A lot of people who have died, they found themselves in hell, and then they pray, and then they're out of hell. You like dresses? Okay, I thought, Ed, thoughts on Elmer Fudd? He wants you to be very quiet because he's hunting rabbits. That's my thoughts of Elmer Fudd. He was always either picked on or lampooned by Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny was much smarter than Elmer Fudd. And so was Daffy Duck. Daffy Duck always, Daffy. Daffy means crazy. Wadbits? What's that, Wadbits? Wobbits? I remember watching those cartoons. Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, Tweety Bird, Sylvester. It's always the protagonist and antagonist. The antagonist was Sylvester. Tweety Bird was the protagonist.
I thought I tore a putty tat. I did. I did tore a putty tat.
He was a. There was one guy, Mel Blanc. Mel Blanc did all those voices, like Yosemite Sam and Foghorn Leghorn. Thoughts on Fog? I was just talking about Foghorn Lake. I'll say, he's a chicken hawk. He was very explanatory. Foghorn Leghorn. He was a rooster. Do you believe everything the Bible says? I believe the Bible is a lot of different books in a certain order put together by King James. King James version of the Bible. Bible just means book. The word Bible comes from the word biblia, which means book. And it was basically a collection of Jewish scripts, Jewish scriptures, and post, like the New Testament was written by people who followed the same guy. Everybody told basically the same story, but in different versions. And there were letters that were written to certain churches, and they had to write. They had to write in code. What if those who some of the Bible was wrote by man? It was like those letters. The letters to the Corinthian church, letters to the different disciples. I believe they had what was like the Pony Express. They would write letters to certain people, and those certain people got those letters, and they included them in the book. And if you read the Bible, it's mostly a catalog. It would catalog genealogies. Thoughts? Walt Disney. Walt Disney was a dreamer. He had his group called the Imagineers. The Imagineers helped build Disneyland. He had a good vision. He was a man of vision. He liked cartooning, but then he went to Knott's Berry Farm. It was Knott's Berry Farm, and he was saying, I could make money at this. I could, because I think Knott's Berry Farm was made for children, and he said, I could make a place that's for the whole family. The whole family could show up to Disneyland and have a good time together with their children. And all these storybooks, he basically had his own version of each storybook. Walt did a cartoon about the devil kidnapping Lady Spring. Really? I heard his first cartoon was Steamboat Willie. It was all written or drawn by hand. Each frame was drawn by hand, and then the music was added later. Because back in the old days, when you watched a movie, there would be a guy playing a calliope or a piano, and you would have to read the dialogue. They would show, what if someone who wrote the Bible was hearing voices and was mad? That's also a possibility. Because back in the Roman times, wine was made with mercury. Oh no, it was made with lead. And that's how the emperors would go mad, because they would drink this wine, and the lead. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the process of making wine, lead was included, and I think that's what drove some people insane. But then again, not everybody was literate. Not everyone was literate in those days. A lot of people took a long time to write out each page of the Bible, and if they made one mistake, they'd have to start all over again. I know that about Hebrew. when the scribes would copy the Torah, they would have to write it perfectly with no mistakes. And if you made a mistake, you'd have to start all over again. So it's probably pretty accurate. These documents of Moses and of Abraham. And thoughts on the movie Old Yeller? That was a Disney movie. And they had to kill Old Yeller. I guess Old Yeller got rabies. They say a lot of people cried during that scene because they had to put him down. He was a rabid dog. Thoughts on the movie Old Yeller? Oh, I said that. Okay. Winnie the Pooh. Who is the voice of Winnie the of Eeyore? I do not know. I don't know. I know the guy who was the voice of Bambi. He was a combat vet. He didn't want people to know that he did the voice of Bambi. You have the heart. You have the heart to go out. OKD Yeller. Do I have the heart? Yeah, because he was rabid. Rabies is no joke. You got to put that dog down. If that dog bites you, then you're going to have rabies. I wouldn't want that dog to suffer. I think I have the heart to put him down. As long as it's quick. Because, yeah, rabies is a very horrible condition. It causes you to have hydrophobia. Even though you are thirsty, it makes you afraid of water. In Winnie the Pooh, was Rabbit a girl? Winnie the Pooh? I don't think it was. Rabbit, I think, was a male rabbit. There was Piglet, and then I think Piglet's mother that I remember. It's been a long time since I followed a Winnie the Pooh story. How would you cook a dog if you had to eat it? I guess like they say, as long as the meat is cooked all the way through. Eddie, I don't think Edgar died. I think it's Palamo with an account named Edgar. It could be, I don't know. There's always possibilities. Don't Winnie the Pooh mess around with the rabbit. Did he mess around? I don't know. I don't know much about Winnie the Pooh. Maybe he needs to come out of the closet. Rabbit did have a garden. Why wouldn't he? He needs a food source. Or maybe it wasn't his garden. Maybe he would go and eat some poor guy's garden. Some family that's trying to live off grid. They got some celery and they got some cabbage and lettuce and carrots. That's like a buffet to a rabbit. I heard rabbits don't like carrots. That was all a myth. Because Bugs Bunny was always eating a carrot.
Yeah, Bugs Bunny. Spick back a firecracker, shish boom ba. Bugs Bunny, rah, rah, rah. Yeah, what's up, Doc?
He would always be munching on a carrot. But I heard that that was a myth. They like celery and lettuce and things like that. Thoughts on Alice in Wonderland? It was written by a strange guy. The original Alice in Wonderland was written by a guy who had an infatuation with a girl named Alice. I think that's how the story was written. And it's pretty interesting because Wonderland happens when Alice goes into the rabbit hole. She chases a rabbit into the rabbit hole. And I heard the ebook. I was listening to the ebook. And I'm glad that Disney changed it because it was kind of a hard read. Yes, you're right. He was a weirdo. He was a card-carrying weirdo. A guy who was infatuated. Peter Pan was an interesting story. Peter Pan didn't want anybody to get old. He would kidnap the lost boys, and he would start fights with the pirates. to kill off all the old people, the people who are getting old. He didn't want anybody to get old in Never Never Land. I think he loved young girls. Probably. Because, yeah, who would take the time to write a whole story about a woman who falls down a rabbit hole and then meets Tweedledee and Tweedledum and the Queen of Hearts, who played golf with a flamingo, who loved young girls? Oh, the person who wrote Alice in Wonderland. The guy who wrote Alice in Wonderland. Who was that woman? There was, she was also in another show. Me, Myself, and Irene. Renee Zellweger. Renee Zellweger played a woman who was an author about a book, an author of a book about rabbits who can talk. And I guess during those times, people wrote a lot of books and they had to have an imagination. You know, like Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe. I remember that was a book when I was a kid. Then later on it was Narnia. It was called Narnia. Thoughts on Tigger? Well, Tiggers are wonderful things. Their bottoms are made of rubber. Their tails are made out of spring. Tigger was always happy, wasn't he? He's the guy I'd want to hang around with. Just to have a good time. Tigger. The wonderful thing about Tiggers. Tiggers are wonderful things. Their bottoms are made of rubber. Their tails are made of spring. And they just like to bounce and bounce. Eeyore was kind of a downer. Eeyore, I think he needed to be on medication. He needed to be prescribed an antidepressant. He was happy if you just noticed him. What do you think about Dan Schneider? Who's Dan Schneider? Dan Schneider. Why does he ring a bell? What movie was he in, Dan Schneider? He sounds like, remember One Day at a Time? There was a show called One Day at a Time. Schneider was the maintenance guy. Also, the black and white squares in Alice in Wonderland, the same was the, Freemasonry, yes. And he was a part of Freemasonry, which was a weird cult. And you know what? A lot of our American presidents were Freemasons. A lot of people who were up the social ladder were Freemasons. Thoughts on Garfield the cat? I remember he was pretty popular. When I was in middle school, they had Garfield cartoons. He was the funny papers. He was in the funny papers. I think the Sunday Funnies. It was just about a fat, lazy cat with stripes. A lot like the Cheshire Cat. But the Cheshire Cat, all you'd see with his mouth and eyes, the Cheshire Cat. Those are interesting shows to watch. They were trying to remake Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. What they should do is re-release. Eddie, ever do a little yayo? What's yayo? Okay. Thoughts on Mike Tyson, Ric Flair, hanging out and smoking pot? You know what? I don't think it's illegal anymore. Pot is okay. Who was that guy? Not Ric Flair. Jesse Ventura. Jesse Ventura talked about smoking pot and how harmless it was. All he wanted to do was watch Woodstock or go to Woodstock when he was smoking pot. A lot of people think it's very therapeutic. It's very medicinal, marijuana. It reacts very well to the human body. So why not have some? Why not go have some marijuana? They were called, in the 50s, they called it the gateway drug. That was what started it all. Marijuana. They even had Reefer Madness. There was a movie called Reefer Madness. It makes you feel good. It does. It makes you feel less combative. Do you like Tyson chicken? I like Tyson. Tyson seems to be more affordable. You get like 5 drumsticks in one case. Pot isn't okay in Ireland. If caught, you could be put in prison. I found if found with much. Really? That sounds like old America. One guy was doing a life sentence because he was caught with some marijuana. A lot of celebrities were caught with marijuana. I think what it was yeah, they're really afraid of what would happen. Pot just makes people docile. Docile, hungry, and laugh. What's wrong with that? But they say it's hard to stop. It's hard to stop smoking pot. And you need more. They say you need more pot to get high, to get the same amount of high, or to the same level of high. You have to smoke more of it. Thoughts on the movie Dumbo? That was a touching story. Dumbo was the only one who wasn't confined. I love you too. Grandma Daisy says she loves me. Isn't that sweet? I love you too, Grandma Daisy. Some people grow it in their... Yes, they do. I saw a guy who, there was a couple in one apartment. There was a complex that I worked at. And it was an apartment complex, and the guy was in upstairs. He was an upstairs resident, and he had in his bedroom, his whole bedroom was dedicated to growing pot. And this one other guy, he also in his bedroom had one huge pot plant. I think in California you can grow your own as long as you're not trying to sell it. Some people grow it in their attics. They got, yeah, prison time. Some people dedicate an entire house. They actually have an electrician show up so that they can get the right amount of wattage, so they can keep the hot lamps going. I guess you need hot lamps to grow pot. Do you miss Sacramento baboon? Screaming baboon? Aren't you Screaming Baboon? I like Grandma Daisy first and foremost. Grandma Daisy reminds me of raisined oatmeal cookies, or oatmeal raisin cookies, just like the ones Grandma used to make. Those are good breakfast food. Just have some oatmeal raisin cookies and a nice tall glass of cold milk. Wow, we've covered a lot today. We're kind of eclectic. We're talking about all the Disney cartoons. The Sorcerer's Stone, I think, was one that didn't get much press. There's a lot of Disney movies I don't think got much press. I remember a lot of Kurt Russell back in those days. Kurt Russell was in a lot of Disney movies. The Computer Who Wore Tennis Shoes. Then one of them was The Strongest Man in the World or something like that. Kurt Russell's been in a lot of movies. It was mind-blowing. Even now, he was in Grindhouse, the movie Death Proof, Guardians of the Galaxy, Escape from New York, Escape from LA. Wes Craven, I think he made Big Trouble in Little China. I was just watching that movie a couple of days ago. I think it was yesterday. Big Trouble in Little China. That's a pretty good movie. Wishmaster. Have you ever seen Wishmaster? I still want to meet your mother. Why do you want to meet my mother? I gotta make sure she's in the right mood. I don't like interrupting her when she's watching one of her shows. She always seems like it's an awkward moment. She would much rather be watching her. Hey, Eddie, you're back. Yes, you are. You said that, yeah, you were one of the people who sent me a comment. You left me a comment saying you were back. Good for you. What time is it here? It's like 7:21. 7:21 in the evening. The sun has gone down. There's still a bit of light outside. I think it's supper time. It's 6:21. That's all right. You're here though. That's what matters. Time is relative at Eddie's Funhouse. That's what Einstein said. He said time exists so that everything doesn't happen at once. Everything fits into a timeline. That makes sense, doesn't it? This has to happen before that happens. You don't want it to all happen at once. They say everything exists in the universe. They say this is a multiverse. Awareness and time, I guess, is what takes you through the maze that is the universe. But that's a theory, I think. This is great. Aren't we having a great time? There was a child who got abused by his dad. He prayed to God to make it stop, but nothing happened. His pastor told him Jesus suffered, so why shouldn't he suffer? It is. That's an interesting way of looking at it. I think there should be laws that protect people who are abused. If somebody goes crazy, they shouldn't wait till somebody goes crazy. You should not wait until someone goes crazy or snaps, as they say. Some people can only take so much, and then they snap. And when they snap, they do jail time. They do prison time because they don't want to be abused. I bet you anybody, if they were abused enough and lost their mind and took care of business, they call it taking the law into your own hands. Alcatraz with, oh yes, I've seen that. When they took away that poor guy's thoughts on Daffy Duck. Okay, Love Sleepers movie. Kaufman does. Brad Pitt. Sleepers movie. There's another one called Tommy Knockers. That was a Stephen King book. I think that type of preaching makes... Yeah, imagine that. Hey, just grin and bear it. Take it on the chin, as they say. It's like, I think that's what it is people don't get it. People don't get when you're put in an abusive situation, there's only so much you can handle. Some people snap earlier. Some people snap much later. But the ones who snap later, those are the ones who do the real damage. And it's like, they had it coming. They had it coming. They shouldn't have been abusing somebody. What's your favorite drink? Mine is Dr. Pepper. Sometimes I like a Monster. I like the green, the can that's black and green. Monsters are good. Also, I've had the Monster coffee drink is really good. I like that one. It's hard to find though. You have to go to select stores to get the Monster that's the coffee drink. Thoughts on Sesame Street? That came out when I was a kid. 1969. Sesame Street. I like the Count. The Count was one of my favorite characters. You can't have those. You can't have those. What, the energy drinks? A lot of people are prohibited from taking the energy drinks. Like Red Bull. I heard a mother telling her daughter she couldn't have Red Bull. You could die from too much Red Bull. That was, what was that movie? No, it was a show called 1,000 Ways to Die. One woman died because she drank too much Red Bulls, too many of them. I remember in Morgan Hill, California, the Ford employee got fired and killed his two bosses. Yeah. Sometimes you never know what's going to trigger somebody. Ever watched Home? Yes, I remember Pamela Anderson. I think that was one of the first shows she was in. And Home improvement was a pretty big deal. He joined a gang because he felt accepted and loved. They gave him a gun, and he was going to shoot his stepdad, and he was put into a juvenile. Yeah, a lot of people are being tried as adults now. A lot of kids who are committing murder, they're being tried and sentenced as adults. Thoughts on Gover? Gover? Who's Grover? Grover was also the voice of Yoda. A lot of people don't know that. If you listen to Grover and you listen to Yoda, because Jim Henson helped make that. Jim Henson helped create Yoda. Yeah, I remember that. He would always slap, not Oscar the Grouch, Kermit the Frog. He would also always call him Froggy Baby. Froggy Baby! The Amazing Grover. I think he was always wearing a knight's helmet. You love Sesame Street? A lot of people do. Sesame Street's still going strong. They would always try to teach you Spanish. They teach you how to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do 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 do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And they all played games at the Ladybug's picnic. Do you think America is at risk over helping Israel? America has always helped Israel with no recompense, with no repercussions. Since World War II, I think they started helping Israel. And sometimes I think it benefits. No, I love Home Improvement. Of course you do. Home Improvement. Last Man Standing was another show that he had pitched, I guess. But I like Schoolhouse Rock. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? There was I'm just a bill, yeah, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. That was very educational. It helped because it involved music. It incorporated music. When you were listening to music, you were learning something. Did you see Sleeping? You know what? That's Sleeping with the Enemy. That happened. Wasn't that in the 80s? Sleeping with the Enemy? There was another movie. They got the term bunny boiler. I forget which movie that was. There was a movie where, I forget her name now. There was a woman who literally boiled a bunny in the movie. And then he used the term bunny boiler. Yes, brilliant film. Yeah. Sleeping with the Enemy. I do remember that. I don't remember what it was about. I wish I could remember the name of that movie. Meryl Streep, wasn't she in that movie? She's the one who boiled that poor rabbit. And it made me laugh because they would refer to people as bunny boilers. Thoughts on Kermit the Frog? He was a pretty animate guy. I know Seth MacFarlane doesn't like Kermit the Frog. Seth MacFarlane. He was the guy who created Family Guy. And he would always make fun of Kermit the Frog. He was in love with Miss Piggy. I think Miss Piggy liked him. I think Miss Piggy liked Kermit the Frog more than Kermit the Frog liked Miss Piggy. Julia Roberts, Pretty Woman. She was also in that movie. It had to do with helping the Afghanis fight Russia. Helping people, the Afghanis were fighting against Russia, and she was raising funds. Damn, what was the name of that movie? Thoughts on Bean Bunny? Who's Bean Bunny? Do you mean Bugs Bunny? Bean Bunny. I don't remember a Bean Bunny. I remember Mr. Bean. He was a British comedian. Rowan Atkinson. That's it. That's his name. Rowan Atkinson. We're having fun, aren't we? This is what I envisioned. Everyone just asking questions. Me doing the best I can to answer them. Me with all my sound bites. Bean Bunny was in the movie The Bunny Picnic. Really? Why haven't I heard about The Bunny Picnic? I remember Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That was a book my brother was reading before it was a movie. Trying to remember other movies that I've seen. Cool World. You mentioned Brad Pitt earlier. Cool World was an animated feature. They were mixing a lot of animation with live action. Jim Henson. He created Sesame Street and The Muppet Show. The Muppet Show was mostly filmed in the UK. I didn't know that. They were trying to get it over here in the US. I always thought the Muppet Show was an American thing. Labyrinth, I think Labyrinth, Jim Henson had something to do with Labyrinth. Jennifer Connelly and David Bowie. And another one was Legend. I think he had something to do with Legend. A lot of those movies were puppet movies. Ernie and Bert Gay. Bert and Ernie. I think that's what it was. Family Guy kind of made fun of that. Bert and Ernie being a gay couple. I think they were just roommates when I was growing up. Bert was the guy with the yellow head, the big red nose. Ernie was always the jokester. I got my 10th subscriber. How about that? You always remember your 10th subscriber. Do you have a preferred type of woman? A type? I like her to be a non-smoker. I like her to not drink excessively. As long as she doesn't drink excessively or smoke or if she doesn't mess around, as they say. Thoughts on Oscar was pretty cool. He reminded me of Danny DeVito. You know Danny DeVito? Who was that guy? Danny DeVito played the boss on Taxi. You ever watch Taxi? He almost had the same kind of personality. That devil-may-care, grouchy person. Yeah, Danny DeVito. Who was that guy? Anyways, he played the boss. Oscar the Grouch. He was green. He had blinking eyes. Not a lot of the Muppets had blinking eyes. If that's your type, would you not like... You would not like my mom? Does she drink excessively? A beer every now and again is okay. Maybe a glass of wine. Just to relax at the end of the day. But if she's always passed out or getting hurt, blacking out, passing out, smelling like liquor all the time. But she has to be well-read, you know, smart. I like a woman who's smart. I think they would let Diddy sell Door Open cell door open and let the man take care of him. Who played Gina on the same on Gina? Who played Gina on Sesame Street? Wasn't she that Puerto Rican woman? There was one woman who was. I think that's why they were always speaking Spanish or telling people how to count in Spanish. And there would always be a letter, you know. Sesame Street is brought to you today by the letter G or the letter M. Sesame and Big Bird. Big Bird was a big deal. Oh, Maria. That's right. She was Spanish. Okay. Because I know in New York, I think that was founded in New York. That was kind of like a melting pot, New York. Come and play, everything's A-OK. On my way to where the air is free. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? I think I could play that in my harmonica. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? You love Gina? You thought she was the bomb? She was quite a fetching young gal. Hey, I could do that pretty good with a little practice. When she was in the snow, she was like 19. Really? Oh, in the show. You know what? That's adult age. Anything above 18? Then there was Mr. Roper. Mr. Roper was the guy who had I guess he had the general store. A lot of people were on Sesame Street. I think even Ozzy Osbourne was on Sesame Street. I think Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper was definitely on The Muppet Show. Kiss. I think Kiss showed up. A lot of people were on The Muppet Show and Sesame Street. Katy Perry was on Sesame Street. She was chilling with Elmo.
Elmo loves Katy Perry.
I think this episode was banned, but they showed Gina getting in the shower. Really? Oh boy. Oh, Gina. I guess that's when you became mature, when you started to see Gina on Sesame Street. You started to realize the human body. Hey, Eddie, how are you doing? Pretty good. How are you? Thanks for asking. I still think that's creepy. Men over 50 dating 18-year-old, 19-year-old. They could be their daughter. I know. That's interesting how people say age is just a number, but then some people have a real problem with age. Age is not just a number. Age really freaks people out. Pretty chill, nothing much. Yeah, same here. It was kind of an easy day. It was very pretty outside. I lived my pretty days. I always like it when I can just walk around in the grass with no shoes on, no socks, just grass at my bare feet, and no bees or stickers. good movie was Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. That was a really good movie. That was a Jim Henson movie. Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas was a very touching story about an otter named Emmett. They showed Gina pregnant. Really? They left nothing to the imagination. You know what? They also coped with death. Somebody had died. Mr. Roper or Mr. Hooper, whatever his name was. One of the people in Sesame Street had died. And they were coming to terms with that. And I guess that was a pretty good episode. I think it was Mr. Roper. Scooter's pissed 'cause Roper's away late. Oh, Jim Henson's dead and gone, but his Muppets still will live on. And Kermit's still hot 'cause it's still not easy being green. Stephen Lynch sings that song. It's called the Muppet. Oh, the song is called Jim Henson's Dead. That isn't right, showing Gina in the shower. It's a kid's show. I know. It's mind-boggling. People say age is just a number. Well, as long as Gina's wearing a towel. How many people have you seen wearing a towel? Covering all their naughty bits. Making sure that nothing is seen that shouldn't be seen. I think that's what it is people were trying to show kids what is seen in life. You know, people passing away, people eating cake, people trying to count in Spanish. I think they censored the nudity. Of course, they had to blur it out. They had to show her from the neck up. They can't show anything from the neck down. A lot of family shows had that. If somebody was in the shower, they were always showed from kind of like the chest line up, so people don't reveal too much. All right. What time is it here? It's 7:44. Isn't it great how this is all turning out? We don't have any bullies. We don't have anybody blocking anybody. Yeah, I remember that scene. All right. I say this is a pretty good show. Be sure to check out the links in the description. You might find something that suits you. I have a pretty eclectic shop. Showing them in a towel must be for the men. Fancy thinking. Yes, they fantasize about a 19-year-old. Yeah. It's amazing at what countries some things are accepted. Like in Brazil and the UK and the Middle East, compared the two. In the Middle East, women can't show their faces. They can't show their bodies. But I think in Brazil, people can walk around with next to nothing on. They can show their bums. So, yeah. Some things are not prohibited, or some things are permitted. Some things are clearly not permitted. Like if you were in the Middle East and you wore a bikini or a bathing suit, you could be brought to trial, maybe. You love Gina. I was a fan of Brooke Shields. I like Brooke Shields. And Christy McNichol. I remember Christy McNichol. Yeah. They were two of my crushes. Olivia Newton-John. I had so many crushes growing up. It seems like one after the other. Just different. It was just a parade of women that I found attractive. I watched them from 1991 to 1996. I used to love... Who's Aha? Is that a band? Aha? A band during the 80s? Doesn't that make... that rings a bell. Aha. I remember ABBA. ABBA was pretty popular. That's right. They're playing some songs that I used to listen to on the radio when I was a youngster. They play them even now. She left the show in 1996. They said she moved away. That's what I do. If I made the right amount of money, I would just move away. A lot of people buy ranches. A lot of people who earn enough money, they buy a ranch. Tom Graydon did that. He bought himself a ranch. He's as old as I am. He's in his 50s. He makes a lot of videos of himself with all of his livestock. They sang, oh yeah, that's right. Take on me, take me home. I'll be gone in a day or two. I like that Breakfast Club song. Don't you forget about me as you walk on by. If you call my name. That one brings back a lot of memories. La 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 la. I could sing that in the shower. La 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 la. And that song, everybody wants to rule the world. Gina had the man moving her on the shoe, moving her on the shoe. They would walk, walk her home. So I take it you like Gina. Was she one of your first crushes? Remember the electric company? We're gonna turn it on. We're gonna give you the power. Morgan Freeman was on that show, the electric company. Where are all your old subscribers gone? They're probably still here. They just don't show up very often. Yeah, my old subscribers. I think life does that. Life just takes people away. Some people grow apart over time. Even the best of friends can find different ways. Thoughts on Mike Rowe? Oh, he was the dirty jobs guy. He's a big advocate of people working, people earning a living. He did the show Dirty Jobs. Those were interesting jobs. There was one job where he would cover a boat with plastic. He had a heat gun and plastic wrap, and he had to cover the boats with plastic wrap. I don't think I could handle a job like that. Yeah, there were a lot of jobs that I don't think I would want to show up every day to a job like those. I remember working in a supermarket. The last job I had was I was working in a supermarket, putting food on shelves and pricing. I was in pricing for a while. Putting price tags. Whenever there was a sale, we were getting ready for sales. Cow pot maker. What's a cow? Oh, cow poop pot maker. Well, I guess it's supper time. It's about time I had supper. Thank you all for joining me. We'll do this again tomorrow. If you had a choice to marry any woman in the world, marry any woman? A lot of women I like are already married, but I guess in a fantasy world. Peace out. Have a good day. Thank you for your for your helping, for for coming here and talking, for coming here. Yeah. Jennifer Lawrence comes to mind. That Hunger Games woman, the woman who was in Hunger Games. I kind of liked her. But then again, people have trouble with age. Yes, fantasy. Smiles, everyone. Smiles. Remember Fantasy Island? Ricardo Montalban. I really like Jennifer Lawrence. She was in X-Men as well as Hunger Games. Silver Linings Playbook. What other people who have I liked? Rebecca Romijn. I like Rebecca Romijn. She also played Mystique. Isn't that interesting? It's kind of like that Kevin Bacon thing. Rebecca Romijn and Jennifer Lawrence both played Mystique in the X-Men movies. And then again, back in the day, Christy McNichol. There's a lot of women I fantasize. A lot of people. And then in history, I've always wondered, people back in history, I really feel for Cleopatra. Cleopatra had to compromise quite a bit. They say Cleopatra was Greek. Pick one? Well, then Jennifer Lawrence, I'd have to think. Because she's a Leo. I think I get along with Leos. And Capricorns. I've gotten along with Pisces, Capricorn, and Leo. Most of my girlfriends have been Pisces. I think. There we go. If I had to pick one. But then again, she's married already. Yeah, I think that's it. That's my answer. Because I like her sense of humor, and she's not an ugly woman. I don't want to make anybody jealous, but yeah. Since you put me to the question, I know I don't really answer questions, do I? I'm not really definite. I'm not a definite man. I'm too much of a people pleaser. Too much of a people pleaser to be definite. You can't be diplomatic if you're definite. People get upset when you make a choice. When you put your foot down. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad everyone's doing well. I'll just keep praying for Mandy. Mandy and her sister. I guess I grow attached to my guests when my guests come to Eddie's Funhouse to have fun. Good choice. I made a choice. And it benefited me. It benefited me to make a choice. All right. Today was a success. Here's to success. I guess go home and drink your Mountain Dew. Have a glass of wine. And contemplate. Freckles or no freckles. Because I remember when we were young, we didn't want freckles. And now people are getting tattooed freckles. They're getting freckles tattooed on their face. And then they regret it. I think they regret those. Remember Matty. Matty said, if you don't hear from her, if you don't hear from him. Oh, okay. That could be it too. This is a work day. But then she said 6:30. 6:30, 1 o'clock. 1:30 my time is 6:30 in Ireland. Anyways, I think that's what it is. I get so attached to my guests. I always want to know how they're doing. Because this is like a family, isn't it? This is like our composite, our makeshift family. Anyways, have a great night. I'm glad you could all show up and talk for a while. And sweet dreams. Sweet dreams, and I guess I'll dream of Jennifer Lawrence. All right, have a good night.